welcome to the debate. My name is Naila. Shuja, and viewers, today we are going to be discussing the Pakistani political landscape, which is once again going to be bracing for turbulence as Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf prepares for the large-scale sit-in on the 24th of November. Now, that being said, it is being called the final protest, and it is being led by Alima Khan, Ali Amin Gandapur, and Bushra Bibi. Now, viewers, as the saying goes, united we stand, divided we fall. The question is, how much further does PTI want to fall? A meeting was held today led by Ali Amin Gandapur to discuss the preparations for the 24th of November. But it seems that they are pretty desperate as the leaders were absent during this meeting, and they're setting targets for their leaders to show up with a number of supporters. Interesting, right? Now, Bushra Bibi is ordering the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Assembly lawmakers to bring in 5,000 supporters, viewers, 5,000 supporters. And but they're reportedly being troubled by the orders from Bushra Bibi, and this is causing alarm. And Khan's sister Alima Khan is expressing doubts about the feasibility of a single supporter. Now, furthermore, the question remains, viewers, why do they have to beg their supporters and their workers to join this 24th November sit-in? It's a question. It is a legitimate question. Now, even the MNAs are flustered and confused to how they will get this number or this amount of people to show up for the 24th of November sit-in, and we're going to be finding out. And Bushra is linking the 24th of November protest performance to obtaining a future PTI ticket. Is she really trying to butter the toast? We're going to find out from our senior analyst and our guest who will be joining us. Now, given the current circumstances, viewers, there is a possibility of a division within the party regarding who will be emerging as the successor of PTI's founder and who is the de facto leader at the moment. Now, on the other hand, the opposition is basically in the National Assembly, and they're stating that their sole demand is the release of PTI founder, who has been implicated in various fabricated cases, and the release should be of PTI founder, and he should be freed. However, the developments and the evidence, it goes strongly against him, as the events of 9th of May paint a very different picture, viewers. The 9th of May reports show the involvement of PTI leaders in vandalism. Do we really think that Khyber Pakhtunkhwa Chief Minister's resurfacing and showing his repetitive patterns of politics will help him this time fooling the public? That is a question that we will be also finding out from our esteemed panel. And the dramatic twist of fate will be, is he crying out wolf, or is this another game of chicken? We're going to be taking a look at that as well. So the gist is PTI once again is hell-bent on coming towards the streets, and as the founder PTI himself has frequently relied on the street protests to assert his political demands, it's often at the cost of public order, and it is also at the cost of national cohesion. Despite these controversies, PTI is once again mobilizing its supporters for a protest that aims to exert pressure on the interim government to release the founders. And furthermore, we will be discussing in our second segment, going to be talking about Prime Minister's directive to speed up the action against tax defaulters under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. As per the announcement, viewers, the Ministry of Finance has given the briefing on the meetings with the IMF delegation, and stating that foreign investors are showing confidence in the government's policies. Public relief should be prioritized, and every other measure should be taken, and they're taking all the possible measures to fulfill these promises. Now, viewers, it is an honor and a great welcome to have our esteemed panelists here, our senior analysts here in the studio. Farrukh Pitafi, a huge welcome to you, and Raja Faisal, a very warm welcome to you. And on our online part, we are being joined by PJ Mir, who is a senior journalist. Thank you so much for joining us. And Muneeb, Qadir, who is a political analyst. Thank you guys so much for taking the time out and speaking to us. Now, given the fact that Ali Amin Gandapur has been a prominent figure within the PTI, known for his confrontational style, had his vocal support for the party's core narrative. He's consistently led charge on various protest movements and disappeared from them as well, public rallies especially, and he's emerging as a hardliner. His repetitive pattern is basically an issue for calling the protest reflective or a reflection of PTI's reliance on the street power as a political tool. Now, that being said, PJ Mir, what does Ali Amin Gandapur's leadership style really reveal about PTI's current political strategy?
Well, you said you used the word confrontationist. The actual word is provocative and confrontationist. as a chief minister, he should be, creating a bridge between the center and the province. And rather what we see is perhaps, the two words which I've used. Now, that is not something we would expect either from the KPK or Punjab or, Sindh or Balochistan, because this is not what we need at this moment in time. But these kind of statements, they only show, I would say, some sort of frustration that, we'll do this and we'll do that. Why? You have a major command. I mean, you have a lot of people who follow you. You're a popular political party. So hence, why do we need this sort of an approach that you just go and antagonize your political adversaries, as I would say? But this is something, a very sad state of affairs. It's been going on a long time. And at the same time, what I see is that it is hindering the development, let's say, the redevelopment process, which the current government is doing. It's not doing wonders. It's not doing great, but it is at least on the right path. So we got to support that. And they must also realize that given the time, if the government changes, and if they don't perform right now, you really think you'll be able to come in and do wonders? You really think you'll be coming in and converting an already depleted economy? Do you have the resources? Do you have the intellect? Do you have the people who can actually do it? I mean, there are a lot of factors which I think, the opposition has to understand, because they mustn't forget that PTI or any other government or any other political party, it is a government in waiting. And as long as they realize that, then they will be treading on the right path. But if they don't, then all we are seeing is anarchy and disruptions, disturbances, and they've given a date. I don't know what that date means. Is it a show of power that we still maintain and enjoy that popular, response from the people of Pakistan? But that again, time will tell you. So I think it's just a pressurizing point, and the government shouldn't be worried about it, because this is when we speak about democracies. Well, these are parts of democracies, but we in Pakistan still have much to learn about the democratic process, about democracy. And it's not about the incumbent government, it's all around. And once we understand that, and I think that is the way forward. But right now, I think all we're seeing is a kettle which is boiling. How much boil it'll take, that again remains to be seen.
Absolutely. Very interesting points you've raised, PJ Mir. And now coming to you, Muneeb, understanding what PJ has just stated, provocative, confrontational anarchy and disturbances. Do you seem to agree that the apparent sidelining of, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa's chief minister might be or slightly in favor of Bushra Bibi's suggest in a leadership crisis within the province?
All I can see is that there is desperation among the top tier leadership of PTI. As you pointed out just a while ago, that Ali Amin Gandapur, the Khyber Pakhtunkhwa chief minister, on previous two occasions, he deserted his own followers when he was carrying PTI, rallies from Peshawar. And upon reaching Islamabad, he had gone AWOL, he had gone missing. And he might do the exact same this time around as well. And also, I don't quite understand what they mean to say when they say that this is the final call. Does it mean that this is final in the sense that they will never ever protest again? Which in fact, more than a threat, sounds like a relief. But talking about, the tug of war within PTI itself, on the one hand, you've got Alim Khan and Gandapur and all those people, and then Bushra Bibi, who is trying to assert herself as the dominant force within the party. She has just recently stated that she would be linking PTI tickets to participation in the 24th November protests, which reeks of desperation, which makes it very clear that not even Bushra Bibi, not even those who are calling the shots within PTI are very confident about the show of strength or lack thereof. on 24th November, the day which they are banking upon. Bushra Bibi somehow seems to know that mustering up the numbers, getting enough people is not going to be the easiest of things for PTI to achieve, and hence these kinds of warnings that cars will need to be filled with people, and MNAs and MPAs, they will need to bring more and more people, no empty cars. Or no empty caravans are going to be tolerated on her part. So it just shows that the focus is not on a cause per se. The focus is on numbers. And that is what PTI has always been about. It's not about parliamentary style of politics. It's not even about democracy. It's mostly about street power. It's mostly about acting as a pressure group. And interestingly, when they were in government, that was exactly what they had done. Their disdain and contempt for democratic values is quite evident from the fact that even the PTI founder, sitting there in Adala jail, has been issuing statements time and again, and very recently as well, that he is looking forward to negotiating with or entering into deal with the establishment, now whatever that means, rather than his political rivals. Because, there is no sportsmanship, ironically, from a person whose claim to fame has been cricket, has been his victory in the World Cup competition, and yet no sportsmanship. Instead, strategies and tactics such as lobbying within US power corridors, trying to rely on US Republicans and Democrats to interfere in Pakistan's internal matters, or trying to lobby, UK Foreign Office and getting that letter by the UK Foreign Secretary David Lemmy and boasting about it. These kinds of things, again, coming from a political party which used to boast of saying absolutely not to Western powers, and now they're seeking refuge and shelter among those Western powers. It just shows that there is nothing that they're standing up for, and so they will fall for anything. And that is exactly what's happening. They are falling.
Interesting. Now, Faisal, understanding what Muneeb's stated, does Gandapur justify the repetitive protest calls, despise his diminishing public turmoils?
Naila, when it comes to, of course, Ali Amin Gandapur being CM of KPK, one of the most important provinces of Pakistan, especially in these current circumstances when we are fighting a war against terror, and we know that the most of the terrorism actually originates from across the border, but that border actually links with the KPK. At this hour, I would of course agree with PJ Saab when he says that he should be more like acting like a CM rather than just a random political leader from PTI. At this hour, he has more responsibility on his shoulders of linking his province to the center, to the federal, and of course the problems which are being faced by Pakistan, they should be shared by all of the provinces, and he being the CM of KPK, he is supposed to lead KPK's government in a way that he creates lesser problems, or even he should be helping the federal to counter all of the problems which are being faced by Pakistan as a nation. Right now, of course, we can consider him a political leader at the same time, but if this is the coat he wants to wear in these processions or in these dharnas, then of course he should be considered as someone who's a political leader rather than CM from KPK, CM from one of the provinces, and he should be dealt with as a political leader who is here with a dharna, not as CM of KPK. And along with him, last time around we saw that he had his own guards, and from KPK police. Once more I would say this, that when he brings this time around, then he should be disallowed to have that force with him. If he wants to portray as a political leader, coming into a dharna or bringing people for a dharna, then he should be dealt with as a political leader, someone who's just creating more troubles, rather than he should be dealt with as Chief Minister of KPK. So over here, problem, Naila, is that yes, PTI is a political party, prominent political party, when it comes to recent statements which were given by Bushra Bibi. I remember while going through that statement, she simply said that she has nothing to do with the politics, and at the same time her statements were related to the people, the candidates who are going to bring at least 5,000 protesters with them. Them people would be considered for the tickets for the future, and apparently she did mention it there, that whatever is she's saying or she's conveying to the people who were present there, it is the message from the former chairman of PTI, Imran Khan himself. He has actually asked her to deliver this message. So to me, I think PTI revolves around its former chairman Imran Khan. It has nothing to do with if there are three corners of PTI, or there are two teams of PTI or four teams of PTI. It has nothing to do with that. I think that doesn't matter at all. Overall, if we look at the current situation of our political fabric, we know that there is a huge youth bulge of Pakistan, and that youth bulge, we accept it or not, they are of course sort of standing with his narratives, and when it comes to whatever he says, how to guide the party and where to guide the party, that is considered as the ultimate. To me, I think CM KPK can't do anything about it. If it comes to former Speaker of the National Assembly, Asad Umar, it doesn't count anything about it. Asad Kaisar, I wanted to say, he means nothing to the party at all. Anyone from within the party who has a sort of standing in terms of talking to the other party, even there are people from ruling party PMLN, People's Party, there are people who can simply talk to these leaders from PTI, but of course outside it won't mean at all. It would mean nothing. Reason being, the ultimate solutions, the ultimate decision would entirely be coming from someone who's sitting in the jail. So to me, I think it is quite a sort of problematic position we are in. Today, I was happy to go through that news in which, of course, from the government side, it has been said that they are looking for the ways to, of course, negotiate with the party leadership, the actual leadership of the party, and somehow come to the conclusion so that we are standing at a position where we have very difficult situations in which we have tried to maintain our economy, and we very well know that if there is a political turbulence in Pakistan, that would eventually lead to economic turbulence as well, and in that context the whole Pakistan would suffer. To me, all of the solutions are on the table, and this is how a mature country should be behaving. And when it comes to the government corners, I am pretty much sure that they have a plan and they have the right people to actually talk to the opposition, and I think that's the best way forward. This is how it should be, and this is how the mature countries should be behaving.
Very interesting take, Faisal. So, Farrukh, coming to you, what say you regarding the situation? Do you think Gandapur is going to be playing a chicken this time again, or will he be standing with his people?
Right. Thank you very much, Naila. First of all, one caveat that I have to spell out. I'm a little bit under the weather. My voice must be revealing that. So if all of a sudden our discourse or discussion is interrupted by my barking cough, so I hope everybody forgives me. Now, regarding what you were saying earlier, right? There are three things that have happened, and which are quite interesting. And I'm glad that you used the word chicken, because that is one hell of a game where two drivers actually, drive against each other, and all of a sudden, whosoever drops out is the chicken. So it is a game of nerves, of course, but there are three things which are, characterizing this. One, the call for November 24. This is important. The second one is the intensity with which this is being approached. And the third one is all of a sudden there are talks from certain intellectuals or pundits about some kind of national a government or formation of a different political party. So whatever is behind these three things will really amuse you. First of all, regarding the situation of regarding the call itself on 24th. So I realize it reminds me of half-broken families where husband and wife fight, and every time they fight, they take it out on the children, and the children are beaten, not by each other, right? So whosoever settles whatever score, I'm sure that it is we, the residents of Islamabad, which are going to be on the receiving end. They cannot harm each other. They will keep on harming us, paralyzing our lives. And I have made this point many a times. Now, intensity. Remember that before America's election, there was great talk of Donald Trump actually coming to power and then helping Khan Sahab coming out of prison and then mainstreaming. Now, Donald Trump does not take over till 20th of January. And after that, what happens? Whether there is any truth to that speculation or not, who wants to take that risk? At this moment, everybody is uncertain. So why not actually start trying to intensify your pressure on the government and the establishment? Now, this whole idea of government talking to PTI, that is also quite interesting, because a government says, okay, we are ready to speak to the PTI's leadership. What does PTI's leadership say? We don't recognize this government, we don't recognize the politicians which are looters and plunderers. We are going to talk to establishment only. And then there is quite interesting phenomenon that is going on in the establishment also. There are three schools of thought, Naila. The first, of course, characterized by or led by General Faz, was pro-PTI clearly, right? And that is particularly in a corner at this moment, and they are not very vocal, but they keep on floating this idea that somehow PTI has to be brought back. The second school of thought, Naila, is the incumbents, who actually are the guarantors of the political situation or whatever it is. But again, where do these pro-establishment pundits who suddenly have started talking about national government actually come from? There's a third school of thought, and that was prevalent only until 2 years ago when General Bajwa was the army chief, and at that time there was a consistent investment in gridlock, a situation where nobody can actually take off. And because of that, 6 years were such passed in a way that our economy kept on suffering. Now it seems that those people who thought that they have a very unique kind of worldview. They wanted Narendra Modi in India, they wanted Donald Trump back in America. So now all these pieces have actually come back. So they don't want to invest in the current state of gridlock. They say, okay, let them go and invest in a new gridlock where politics is settled on the streets and where everybody cannot move. So those people at this moment might think that they are home safe, but the problem is that when Donald Trump actually comes out, takes over, the first thing he is going to do is he is set up a panel to investigate and then court-martial certain officials in America that were responsible for the so-called Afghan debacle when they withdrew. So many of our side's people also come in, and that's why I think any kind of chaos that is going to come, and I think that is going to intensify in next 2 months, but that does not mean that it is not going to settle. Anybody who thought that they have found what they wanted, their eureka moment is over, and you will see a lot of them actually trying to not shift to US or any other country, but UK, because that is some place where it is perhaps possible to defy America, but defy Pakistan also.
A very interesting take, Farrukh. PJ Mir, coming to you, understanding that Bushra Bibi, founder PTI's third wife, has increasingly been described as a significant figure within the PTI party, right? So she's holding no formal political office, but the critics and insiders have speculated about her growing influence over various party decisions such as this, and allegations of her functioning as de facto leader have surfaced, pointing to the internal power struggles, and there is a lack of conventional leadership structure. So that being said, to what extent is Bushra Bibi influencing the PTI's political decisions, and to what extent is the influence over senior political figures such as Ali Amin Gandapur and Alima Khan, founder PTI's sister as well? And is it really going to be undermining the framework of their party?
We all have, in every political party, we've got people who act as 1-1-2-2s. Artificial, resuscitation. That's what they do. That's their job description. When we think about PTI, well, the first thing is that PTI and Bushra, the lady, the former First Lady, she has no political standings whatsoever. In fact, politically, she's a nobody. Nobody knows what she wants, and nobody knows what she wants to do. And this exactly happened with Kamala Harris. Instead of criticizing the other party, she should have probably told what she wanted to do for the country, and that was a downfall. Well, this is a similar case, but in a very small level. So here, what we need to analyze is, will the people support her? No. People will only support one man, and that is Imran Khan, period. As what we see in PMLN, people will only support Nawaz Sharif and no one else. Same case with the Bhuttos. So what we need to understand is, as far as PTI is concerned, is what is their course of action? Because they're in, I would say, in deep waters. There's a huge quagmire. How do they intend to get out of it? By a confrontationist attitude or by reasoning it out? Now, I know somebody mentioned that they wanted to talk to the establishment. Well, if everybody wants to talk to the establishment, well, then let them run the country. Because you think they are the knees bees and they can run the country through their advice. Yes, you do take advice, but they're not the people who are elected. They are the, I call them soldiers of the realm. They're the defenders of the faith. And that is what their job description is. But what we do is we antagonize and try and bring everybody in our same boat. Well, it's not going to work, whether it is the judicial system or the establishment. They all have their own very defined and very strong roles. So let them get on with it. You decide. And as far as you're concerned, and I'm talking about PTI, they have to talk to the government. They have to talk to their political adversaries to make a move forward. Now, if you don't want to make a move forward, you can bring 10 Bushras, you can bring 10 Ali Amin Gandapurs. That's not the solution. The solution lies in a dialogue, not in a monologue. And what we are seeing is a road to disaster. And they must realize, everybody, the government and the opposition must realize that it is the country at stake, not these political parties. These trends will change. They all change. Look at Italy. The governments don't even last. And, then you have elections. So these are temperamental and very short-term thinkings. We've got to think way out of the box, which we are not. We are thinking on ad hocism, short-term planning, short-term thinking, and just to, whoever it is, wants to stay in power. Power has been never, ever, ever permanent. History teaches us. There are trillions of books that tell you all about it. So, Madam Bushra, okay, if she's acting as a bridge, well, that's about it. But they've got to get the politicos on board. What about Umar? What about lots of others? They need to, come out and support the party. And that is what makes a party. You look at PMLN, the difficult times they went through, the diehards stayed with them. They didn't shift, regardless whether PMLN did good or bad or whatever. But the party structure remained, and that is where we make, as they say, strong political podiums. We don't have one. We have, look at it. This guy who destroyed PIA, who demolished PIA, who buried PIA, is now joined PMLN. Can you imagine? can you imagine? This is the kind of politics we suffer in this country. We've got to stand on, on facts and figures, and that sort of a platform where the country benefits, not a political party. Political parties are, I always say, a temporary phenomenon, unless you make your political infrastructure strong, which you won't. Because the moment somebody gets disgruntled, they go and stand outside gate number 4. And this has been happening. It'll happen tomorrow and the day after and the day after. But I think our political scenario, call it, political weather, call it, I think it is coming to a change, and the change for the better. And I hope so, because, Naila, no matter who comes, Pakistan first. That is the modus operandi, and that is the slogan we all have to carry. The only slogan we're carrying in our country right now is, he's a thief, I'm good. And then it goes all around. And that is a national slogan. Do you see any constructive conversation on any national television, apart from a blame game, apart from, criticizing and demonizing each other? Do you see any discussion? No, there isn't. It's all about a political survival. Well, how long are we going to play this game? Please tell me. Do we have the time? No, we don't have the time. The younger generation is coming up fast. There's unemployment. There are lots of other problems. There's a water issue. There's the environmental issue. There's so many other issues. We're not even talking about them. Television is not even giving them the time. And here we are saying that is a bad guy and I'm a good guy, and I'm a bad guy and that's a good guy. This is a conversation. This has to stop. And once this stops and there is a consideration of understanding, I think that is the way forward. There is no other way. Believe me, there's no other way. That's how I feel.
Now, Muneeb, I want to come to you for a second. PJ Mir has stated that an olive branch of sorts has been extended. That being said, Defense Minister Khwaja Asif in a recent statement emphasized the government's willingness to engage in a dialogue, but criticized founder PTI for seeking negotiations with the establishment rather than the politicians, as PJ Mir stated. Why do they not want to come to the table and break bread? What is the issue?
Exactly what Mr. PJ just mentioned. The kind of politics that we're seeing, and particularly from the opposition here, from PTI, it's not one which is conducive to democracy, democratic norms, or democratic values. So there's this element of arrogance that has always been there within PTI specifically, which is that, the other political parties, the other political stakeholders are thieves. They have stolen people's mandate. Now, such sweeping statements without any shred of evidence, might I add. So, it's that sort of arrogance that you are not our equals. Hence, we are not going to sit down with you and negotiate and engage in a constructive dialogue. No, we are going to agitate on the streets. So it's a continuation, it's an extension of that brand of politics. Now, when I look at what Bushra Bibi has said, that, PTI followers, their chances in the elections, their ability to secure election tickets are going to be dependent on whether they're going to come out in numbers and in hordes on 24th November. I think that she's hinting at PTI followers doing another 9th May, perhaps? Because isn't that exactly what had happened when the likes of Farrukh had agitated on the streets on 9th May? They had secured, PTI election tickets. So that just sounds ominous when I look at those statements. And it's all about that, them talking about entering into dialogue or negotiations with the establishment, but not with politicians, not with civilian leaders, not with other political stakeholders, members of other political parties. So I see that kind of politics being, fought under the disguise of Hakiki Azadi, or what they call real freedom. Well, what kind of Azadi is this? What kind of freedom is this? Where you are not following or even ready to follow the most basic principles of democracy. You know, whatever PJ Mir Saab just mentioned, gave the example of politics within Italy. I'm also seeing, you know, there's some political upheaval in Germany as well, when public's confidence in Chancellor Olaf Scholz has also been called into question. But I'm not seeing in any functioning democracy the politicians are not ready to have a dialogue with one another. Whatever they are doing, it is by the rule book and it's the constitution. So I see this utter disdain for, you know, political norms, democratic norms, and constitutional norms coming in from PTI. But at the same time, I've just been, you know, informed. I've seen that Section 144 has been imposed in Islamabad. There's a notification which has been issued by the official district magistrate in Islamabad, saying that there are threats of unlawful assembly, which are going to endanger public peace and tranquility. Now, I believe that even from within the ruling parties, there needs to be transparency, there needs to be openness and protection of civil liberties. In such you know, laws and such provisions like Section 144, they need to be used sparingly, not just as a tool of political convenience. And also, you know, PTI is trying to rely a lot on agitating and you know, trying to create political uncertainty, making people feel disgruntled with reference to the 26th constitutional amendment. Again, now that is where the government can work. The government, ruling parties, they need to win public confidence. They need to engage the civil society into showing that what was the necessity for 26th constitutional amendment. So it's like, you know, they need to build bridges with the public. That politics of saying that the other political parties are anti-democratic or that they are anti-people, I don't think that that is very useful in the long run. What's useful in the long run is winning people over, winning public confidence over. So I think that that is exactly what the ruling parties and the ruling coalition also needs to rely upon more. And the opposition needs to do that as well. But well, you know, the opposition.
Muneeb, I'm gonna circle back to you for a second. PJ Mir, I feel like you have something to add here.
Yes. What Muneeb is saying, I'm just, you know, taking it further. When your security agencies tell you there is an imminent danger, you listen to them. General Nusrat Naim, General Nadeem Taj went to Benazir Bhutto one day before this, you know, her assassination, and they warned her, please don't go, we have information. Please don't go, don't hold the jalsa. But they were adamant, and look at the price we paid. We lost a national leader. The same thing happened when she came back to Pakistan. I was with her. And I told her, and I gave a message from Dr. Ishrat Al-Abad, who was a governor then, that please advise her to take a helicopter from the airport and go to, you know, where she will be addressing the people. But no, people were also excited, and look what happened on Drigg Road. So the point is, what Muneeb was saying, that you have to listen. Don't take it personally that, you know, maybe, you know, they're trying to disrupt your jalsas or disrupt your movements. No one should do it. No one should do it if it's democracy. But as far as security is concerned, security is for others and as well for you as well. So we must respect the security agencies.
Yeah, I would like to add just one small point to this, and I completely agree that, you know, when the security is under threat, we need to listen to the ones who are actually working on the ground. And that is why I say that it is of the essence that all the political stakeholders and those who wield power, they do take the public into confidence. And one brief point, you know, you just mentioned Mr. Khwaja Asif. Just recently, there was a very disturbing footage which I saw on social media, circulating on social media, where he had been threatened with knife attacks in London. And, you know, the behavior of PTI followers and supporters, actually PTI members abroad, overseas PTI supporters and members, it's been disgraceful. I also feel that we need to cement and strengthen our foreign ties, because what we saw with the way that Mr. Qazi Faizi was harassed on the streets of London, or it's very serious, a knife attack threat against our defense minister, it's in complete violation of the Vienna Convention, and this is something that Pakistan needs to register, with its international partners, with its foreign partners, with a lot of robustness. We cannot be complacent about these things. It's very serious, and the way that Pakistan's narrative is being sabotaged by these miscreants on the global stage, we really need to fight this off. This is a menace. This is an evil which.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that, Muneeb and PJ Mir, for joining us. Senior journalist is PJ Munir, and the Muneeb Qadir, who is the political analyst. Thank you so much for joining us for this first segment. It is a huge development that we have shared with you. And regarding the situation, it is at the end of the day, we must be very careful, and we must analyze things with an open mind and understand the perspectives, right? So now in our second segment, we will be discussing the meeting that has identified various key economic indicators regarding the current inflation situation, the tax evasion, and the actions being taken against those involved in it. The Prime Minister of Pakistan, Shehbaz Sharif, has instructed the Ministry of Finance to accelerate actions against the tax defaulters. He stated that those involved in the tax evasion, along with those aiding them, will be held accountable. Viewers, now it was in the review meeting on the economic situation that was held under the chairmanship of the Prime Minister of Pakistan himself, and according to the statement issued from Islamabad here, during this meeting, the Finance Minister briefed the Prime Minister about the meetings with the IMF delegation. Now, furthermore, on this occasion, the Prime Minister stated that the country is moving towards economic stability, which is extremely good news, and due to the measures taken to develop the country, there is a bullish trend in the stock market, which is also amazing news, viewers, stating that the rate of inflation has come down from 38% to 7%, which is again, great news. The interest rate has also been reduced from 22% to 15%. The reduction in the interest rates will be increasing the business activities and will be creating employment. That being said, I'd like to switch it over to Farrukh. As per the notification from the Finance Division, the prices of petrol are staying stable at 248.38 rupees per liter, and high-speed diesel is continuing at 255.14 rupees per liter. The interest rate has gone down from 36 to 7%. And the interest rate has, that was the inflation rate, and the interest rate has come down from 22 to 15%. So how are we seeing the interim government, the current government's prudent policies, and how else do we think that the progress and the prosperity of Pakistan where is it heading?
All right. Thank you very much for the question. When you actually said that interest rate, I know it was a slip.
Yeah.
But when you said that it has come down to 7%, I promise you one thing. The day that happens, and hopefully that will soon, I will stand up here and dance, right? Because that will mean that the economy of the country is really out of the woods. One thing is clear. The government's direction is perfect. The government is taking care of all the major decisions that are needed to stabilize the economy, from bringing in foreign investment to privatizing, right sizing, and whatnot, right? Today's story, the biggest takeaway from today's story is regarding the crackdown on tax defaulters and tax evaders. That is one thing that we have to actually look at, because there are 2 or 3 major things that one has to actually look at. Digitalization is taking place. Then automation also needs to take place. And finally, those measures that were promised last month, that once people actually, the list has been finalized, and those who are not on the active list, there's going to be some kind of, consequences for them. That also has to actually transpire now. If that happens, then the revenue targets improve. IMF recently had a visit to Pakistan as well. Because of that, we are also, this is our responsibility to ensure that that happens. Having said that, this is a bridge between the previous discussion and the current one. All those people who keep on talking about national government this or that, they have to realize that with this Prime Minister, with this Finance Minister, and then when it comes to FBR's share, and this army chief and the establishment. The country's economy has shown promise for the first time in past 8 years. For 6 years, we had a very strange kind of economic condition where whenever something was to take off, finance minister would be actually sabotaged or the prime minister would be sabotaged. But now you have the right people at the right place. So economy can really take off if we stick with the current rate of reforms, if we stick with the current team which is there.
Absolutely. Faisal, switching it over to you. So how is the government's intensification on these crackdowns on the tax defaulters contributing to the secure of the confidence of various foreign investors and ensuring long-term economic stability for Pakistan?
Naila, I'm glad that Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has highlighted this today, and there are more strict measures are going to be taken about the people who are either not giving taxes or facilitating other people not to give taxes. And I think the tax net needs to be increased, and we have been of course highlighting this issue since a long time in our show, and that has finally happened, and I think there must be a crackdown on it. And when it comes to the tax collection, that should be ensured, and when it is done, of course, that is when we will be seeing the smooth sail of our economy. And that is how Prime Minister himself has highlighted that if government is playing its role and
absolutely
measures are being taken, then at the same time people at large, they have to have a responsibility as well, and that responsibility is to increase the tax net.
Absolutely, like PJ Mir stated, Pakistan first. And viewers, so we were discussing the Prime Minister who stated that the country is moving towards economic stability due to the measures that are being taken to develop the economy and the country itself. A huge thank you to our senior analysts who have joined us here in the studio, Farrukh Pitafi and Raja Faisal. Thank you so much to you guys for tuning in. This is Naila, Shuja. You guys were watching the debate here on PTV World. Take care.